Hello, everybody. Liberty, what's your first name? I always forget. Oh, boy, I'm tired. You want to know why I'm tired? Oh, boy, I am tired. Let me show you why I'm tired. Hold on just a second. Wife and I just went out to dinner with this clown at Papacito's there in Marietta, Georgia. That's Jeremy Rhodes. Jeremy Rhodes. Yeah. Oh, Jeremy Rhodes. Oh, my goodness. When people super chat me, I'll apparently do anything. I even might do that, boys. I even might do that, boys. I'll do basically anything for a friggin' super chat. Yeah, no, Jeremy's from Maine, and he's in town because he's in the doing his changes MOS in the army. He's in town, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be in town. You want to get some dinner?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'd like to go down to Marietta, meet up with you." The My wife, she likes being in Papacitos, and we went down there, met with old Jeremy down there. Good times, man, good times. So Jeremy lives in Augusta, Georgia, and it's fun meeting folks who are part of the channel. So that's good. So good job, Jeremy. Appreciate you coming out. Jeremy got drunk as a skunk with the monks, though. He's puking all over the place. Like, Josh, I love you, man. Blah. Josh, blah. I was like, oh. He did. He actually did. He didn't even drink all of his beer. He had a Miller Lite. My wife had some kind of drink, and Jeremy didn't drink all his beer. Oh, boy. All right, so I say, hey, got a hot job. KT option. Damn, 82 per month. I'm assuming you're not getting Social Security, right? Because if you're getting 82, well, I don't know. 82 per. Where's my calculator? Okay, go get my calculator. Hold on. Up on the mountain. By the way, Jeremy's an E5. He's trying to boss around because I was just an E4. I was like, I ain't taking nothing from freaking sergeants. Jeez Louise. Yeah, just as an FYI, just checking out this band right here. I'm not checking. I've listened to these guys for years. Egypt. Let me get this. Hold on a second. Come back to that. If you just like, kind of doom metal, they call it dope metal. Not doom metal like black. I hate black metal, and I'm not a big fan of speed metal, but just heavy, modern Black Sabbath type of metal. Doom metal. I don't like that term because it sounds like doomsday. It's not like that. It's more psychedelic metal. Slow, just oh man! If you ever heard of a band called Saint Vitus, yeah, it's like the modern day version of a Black Sabbath, man. You know what I'm saying? It's freaking dude, these guys kick ass. Egypt, that's what it just says to Queen of all time. My wife, she goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs." I said, "Okay, all right." So let's go back to this KT. All right, so KT has $8,200 a month, no cola, where or 7,000 7 all right, so basically what we see here. So KT has $750,000 in cash with a 4,000 a month um, annuity. All right, so we're going to start with that, or $8,200 a month and nothing. All right, so 4,000 a month, that's 100% spousal benefit with no COLA. All right, so 4,000 a month, that's 48,000 a year. All right, so that's 48,000 a year. We know that. So basically, he would be giving up 4,000 a month to retain 750,000 in cash. 48,000 divided by 750,000. Yeah, that's only 6.4%. I'm not sure how old KT is, but the fact that you can split it out, I'd do the 4,000 a month and take the rest cash. That's what I would do. 6.4% is pretty good. Let me show you how I got that. So I'm doing 100% spousal benefits. So we're gonna get, you have the choice of either 8,000 with 100% spousal benefit, 20-year period. So basically, for you and your wife, you'll get 8,000 a month, or you get 4,000 a month and get 75,000, 750,000. All right. So that's a pretty good choice to have, first and foremost. So, with that said, we know that 48,000 a month or a year, the 48,000 that you're sacrificing, we divide that into 750,000 that you are going to get in cash. And that gives you a pretty good pension, a 6.4. Normally, I'd say I'd probably take the pension, but the fact is you already got 4,000 a month. You see what I'm saying? So you don't want to be pension rich and cash poor. So I can't tell you what to do. I don't know anything about you, man. You're just some dude on YouTube. You're probably a bot even. But if I can split the difference there and still get a 6.4%, I don't know what you would have. I don't know how much. I don't know what the other amount would be. But if I can get the equivalent of roughly 6.4% and retain 750,000 cash, that's what I would do. 100%. 100%. I saw another comment here. Oh, yeah, he'll get Social Security also. Yeah, not do that. He said retirement age would be 50 to 51. Oh, yeah. So in that case, that's 6.4% is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. For that young of a person, I tell you though, this is a good hedge against either way, man. You got cash and you got a guaranteed. Plus, you'll get Social Security. I'd take the money and run. I'd take the money and run, and the other 4,000 a month. And look, man, definitely people argue all the time. People question the legitimacy of taking a spousal benefit. I always default with the spousal benefit. There's always a reason not to. I grant you. You get $200 a month more if you don't take the spousal benefit. Could you buy life insurance? All that. I get that. I've seen this play out a million times, and very rarely do the life insurance pay out. I'm just telling you right now. I see this all the time. If I don't take the spousal benefit, I can get $300 a month extra, and I'll use it for a life insurance policy. Yeah, if you do that, great. A lot of people don't. It's no different than the buy term and invest the rest. Very few people actually do that. If you have the capability to do it, more power to you, man. I don't think a lot of people do. And don't forget, only like 2% of term policies actually pay out. I mean, term policies are cash cow for the insurance companies because they don't pay out very much. I just read something. Who was I watching? Someone is doing a video that Service Corp International, I think is what it's called. They're the firms that does funeral homes and stuff like that. Processing dead bodies essentially. SCI. They had I can't remember, what do you say, 15 or 45% increase in bodies this year than they have before even COVID from 2019. I can't remember. I could have sworn it's SCI. Who the hell did I hear that from? Where are my glasses? I'm all hanging around people from Maine just takes me off my game. It's like I got to go back in time to be like when I was in fifth grade. Like when you're talking to people from Maine, you're like, I like donuts. I don't like mathematics. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you're talking to Marine. 2 + 2 = 5. Now, well, I guess Jeremy's in the Army, so I can't be like that. But he's in the Army, plus he's from Maine. All right, so maybe we don't go like donuts. Goes, what would be the next step up from I like donuts? I like bacon and eggs. I'm from Maine. If they're Marine Corps, you're like, me like donuts, nothing else. Oh man, now I forgot what I was doing. Oh, SCI. That was pretty funny. Come on. Oh man. SCI, yeah. So there's Service Corporation International. Yeah, there you go. Watch this bump. Nuts. Look at that bump right there. Right there. What's that bump from? Dead bodies. I know that sounds gruesome. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. And then I heard that Lincoln Life Insurance Company. Yeah, look at that. What caused that hit to earnings? They had to write off like billions of dollars from losses. And so what caused that? On his life insurance, I don't know. So Lincoln Life Insurance went from 59. Holy crap, holy. Lincoln Life Insurance went from freaking 55 about 54, about 50, yeah, a little bit close to 55 to freaking 32. Damn. They went from 55 to 32. So we got Service Corp International is going through the roof because there's more bodies to process. On the other side of that is Lincoln Financial, which is getting smoked. And I don't know why. I would assume there has something to do with life insurance that they got to pay out a whole lot more than they anticipated. I don't know that to be true. It's just my own speculation. What could be the cause? Of course, it's long COVID. That's a freaking 42% decline. Dude, that's nuts. That's a what the hell? I just gotta look at this real quick. Had a terrible week. It crashed 36% in the week since its latest third quarter results. The results don't look great, especially that analysts. Okay, revenues beat expectations though, but revenues don't matter. It's kind of like when these life insurance guys had a guy on here a number of years ago, and he's since moved on, but I think he's been educated by this guy. He said, I'm getting a 6% crediting rate when I issue policies with Mass Mutual. I mean, a 6% interest rate when I issue policies. No, you're not getting. That's called the crediting rate. Only thing that matters is what you're getting, your net. What are you getting after fees, expenses, commissions, and all that? Your crediting rate doesn't mean anything. I could give you a 35% crediting rate, but if I take 34% of it away for fees and all that stuff, you're only getting 1%. So what causes that? The earnings are expected to improve. The analysts seem to have become a little bit more negative on the business, given the small dip in earnings. Their estimate simply that sales are expected to slow indicates they don't say anything about their earnings. So there's no that doesn't make any sense, dude. There's no there are no major changes to revenue estimates, but their earnings were you don't get a 42% decline. Yeah, I don't understand what that is, man. Yeah, that's weird. Who else was I saw a comment. A guy said, who was it, man? Oh, is that freaking clown Sam Bankman Fried? He's like, oh, he's a whiz kid. I was like, oh boy, where have we heard this? The bookshelf back there. When genius failed, the whiz kids. Anyway, it's crazy. Anyway, so I hope that helps their LT, lieutenant, or KT. I don't know what KT is. We have snow on the ground yesterday. Damn, in Northwest Ohio, hot dog. Hey, Brian, what's up, Brian? You're the brother, old Vaughn. Oh boy, Brian, I feel for your brother. If you're on here, Brian, how'd you survive being hanging out with old Vaughn for all these years? Karsten, Que Paso. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, you're freaking killing it. You're killing it. All right, so that's so you'll have 1.7 plus 4,000 guaranteed income and Social Security coming in too. Nah, dude, yeah, you're golden unless you're freaking lighting cigars with 120 with dollar bills. Michael in the house. Yeah. Hey, right on. Child and care benefits. Hey, cool. Burn swag. Right on, man. Yeah, we'll bust out the whiteboard again soon. Trust me, I'm gonna do that. Just I gotta get down there and rearrange the basement a little bit. Let's see. Hey, look at my man, Georgie Porgy. I'm simply Ted. Right on. I bought term, but only for the purpose of getting me through the working years. Yep. 100%, man. I'll drop my term the minute the debt's paid off. 100%. You know what I'm saying? So we're just talking about this today, as a matter of fact, with my wifey. You know, I said, "What would you do?" She goes, I don't know." I said, "Well, you're not gonna date." She goes, "Probably not." She goes, "I definitely won't get married." Because I've driven her away from men. That means she like chicks. It just means I've made her recognize the value of alone time, if that makes sense. So if something happened to me, my wife would be like, "Yeah, I've had enough guys in my life to last 5 lifetimes being married to my big old stubborn ox hound or whatever the hell it is of a you know pile of coal in his head. So she ain't gonna go to another guy." And I said, "Oh, you're gonna go the other direction?" I was just goofing. Anyway, the point being, I said, "Well, I gotta sit around all day. You're gonna have to talk to somebody." She goes, "Yeah, I got friends." I said, "You don't really have that. You don't have that many." I said, "No, that. I mean, are you gonna stay here? Because this is a pretty big house for a one lady." She know how downsize and move someplace else. I said, "Well, what are you gonna do there?" She goes, "Oh, whatever. Get involved in church." That's a pretty good idea. Anyway, now why did I go off that tangent? Now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, so the minute I have no debt, my term will go. But I'm paying pretty cheap term. I'm paying $1,400 for a 20-year term, or was it 15? I think it's 15 till I'm 62, and it's 1.5 million. You know what I'm saying? So the fact I'm still around, I guess my wife put a net present value on my earnings income, and she did the math. She goes, "I'm not gonna get rid of freaking undo the brakes yet. I'm gonna do this right here. The net present value of Josh will live in for at least a couple more years. I'll keep the brake lines intact." By the way, this guy right here, Jeremy, he freaking I'm just telling you guys, there's a lot of friggin' dudes out there still got skills to pay the bills. So Jeremy took apart a Jeep CJ and took it's almost like you're taking an upper and a lower on an AR-15 with different brands. He's taking basically the upper of a Jeep CJ with a freaking Cherokee SJ and combining it. I have a hard enough time just filling up the tires. All right, jeez Louise. Um, I don't think '06 gets that kind of pension, man. I think you got to be a flag officer. I don't think '06 gets that kind of pension, Mark. Maybe they do in the Philippines. I don't know. Out here they don't. Oh, you're talking about this guy right here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Round Rock Donuts. Speak more clearly and write more clearly too. Speak more clearly. You saying I mumble? What? Um, yeah, I this I actually want to show you guys something. This That's a great question, man. I want to show you something that was interesting to me about FTX. Look, does anyone? This is going to sound bad, but I probably should be careful what I say. I don't know if y'all saw the Dave Chappelle SNL monologue. It's actually pretty funny. I don't watch Saturday Night Live. I don't really care all that much about Dave Chappelle. But he said some things that were pretty funny that he got away that only he could get away with, which is pretty interesting. I got that from anonymous conservative who says, "Why is Dave Chappelle all of a sudden allowed to say what Kyrie Irving and what's his name Kanye West couldn't say?" Almost like they're setting it up for a blacks and Jews to butt heads. Why would they do that? And the cabal who controls things. And you can almost see it happen. Like, why is this happening? Why are they setting this up to make the blacks angry at the Jews just out of nowhere? It's kind of weird, man. And I'm sorry. I mean, but they're playing right into Kyrie's and what's his name's argument. And you're just like, why? And when I say they, I don't mean the Jews. I mean the cabal, the ADL. They're part of it. I mean, hell, you think the ADL freaking doesn't care? They just want. I mean, come on. The ADL. Are we still? It's like the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center. And these guys are all in for the grift, man. Come on. I mean, there's plenty of Republicans like that too. Trust me. The AEI, American Enterprise Institute, tons of right wing blog people are in for the grift. But why they? I mean, like the ADL, like that. Anyone still takes them seriously? I don't. I don't take the SPLC seriously. The NAALCP don't take them seriously. Um, Never mind the freaking Sierra Club. I never took them seriously. But there's one I'm drawing a blank on. No, the ACLU. They're all kissed my butt. You know what I'm saying? They're all fake. They're all grifters. But it's just weird. Like, why all of a sudden out of nowhere is the Kyrie and Kanye stuff coming to a head, and then Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night Live states the inherently obvious, and that he's allowed to do it. It's odd, and it's like, why? What are they trying to cause here? And I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want anything to do with it. I want to stay away, but I notice it anyway. So Sam Bankman-Fried once again is Bernie Madoff. There's no other way around that. I'll let you make the comparison there. It's quite, when you start doing the research, you start saying, what the hell is happening, man? There's this cabal, and why are these certain groups of people picked to be the fall guys? It's weird, man. I don't get it. It's very strange. It's not like these are faith-based people, if you know what I'm saying. These are secularists. It's just as an odd phenomenon, and I don't get it. And this guy's the same thing. He's a Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff. And yet, like Bernie Madoff, like lots of fools, they fall for their own headlines. They think they're all that in a bag of chips. And the cabal says, I'm telling you, Satan hates these people because they're like, you sold your soul for this? Like, I'm literally, and I don't know. I'm just, I follow C.S. Lewis, and I read his stuff, on some of his stuff, certainly Screwtape Letters. But Satan's like, I can't believe you sold everything for this few years of wealth and fame. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Satan despises these people more than despises us, because he said, at least you held out. There's always a chance, as C.S. Lewis talks about, that he can get us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we live too long, frankly. We live too long, and we grow too, what's the word I'm looking for? Affluenza. There's a guy named Michael Ramsden, who's a Christian apologetic. Used to be with Ravi Zacharias, and we know what happened to Ravi. But anyway, he's freaking fantastic. And he says, affluenza. When you're so wealthy, you have all the creature comforts in the world, you don't need God anymore. And that's what you think. And as such, as you grow older, you start being, I deserve this. And that's not very, it's not a very good way to put yourself in good graces with a big guy, the creator of all things. Anyway, and so I'm sitting there thinking, so Satan's like, dude, okay, well, I'll use you for what I got to do, but you're freaking, I'll chomp you up and spit you out. Like all these kind of, think about these rap guys, like, the whole rap music thing. Rap music in the 80s wasn't violent freaking chaos. It wasn't. Then Ice-T came around with Rhyme Pays, which is a freaking great album. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, the lyricism in that album, the structure was fantastic. And that was the beginning of the gangster rap crap. Ice-T, Rhyme Pays, and then NWA and all that, and then it's just stupid. Then it didn't MC Hammer even become a gangster rapper. But I liked MC Hammer before that. I mean, his freaking is almost like a, I don't know if he came from a gospel background because he's from Oakland, California, probably not. But there's some good lyrics in there, and a lot of the old rap music from the '80s was freaking fantastic. Raheem the Vigilante from Houston, Texas, freaking fantastic. Lots of wonderful stuff. You know what I'm saying, about anti-drugs. Just crazy. And then, but then they sold their soul because a lot of young, urban, fatherless blacks who wanted to appease to get paid and get money that was not going to them anyway. They were suckers because they're kids with no one to guide them. And the people who run Hollywood, all the same people, a certain breed, as what's his name said, took advantage of. And it's freaking disgusting. And a lot of these guys are still to this day, 30 years later, still getting destroyed. It's disgusting. And the record bruisers aren't, though. You see what I'm saying? And if somehow we're not supposed to call a spade is crazy. Anyway, so this guy Sam Bankman-Fried comes around and just like what his parents are wealthy, very well known in the cabal. I mean, come on, this guy didn't just show up one day, and out of nowhere, this young, just fat kid with man boobs and weird hair because they all think Einstein had weird hair, so we all have to have weird hair. And he's a genius. Why? I heard he dropped out of MIT. How did this guy get an MIT? And then you just hear the way he talks. Like, does this guy has he ever? I just, I mean, did you hear this guy's interviews? Like, who would absolutely? Why would anyone respect this guy with freaking 50 cents? If this guy was trying to sell me lemonade that's on the stand over here, I'd be like, dude, I think you got to put something in there so you can take advantage of me in a not a very fun way for me, if you know what I'm saying about. I'm not trying to be a wide receiver anymore. You know what I'm saying? My high school days of receiving are over, if you know what I mean. And Sam's like, oh, but I like to. I'd be careful. I'm just like, dude, why would anyone? Anyway, so check this out. It's crazy to me. And I don't know what the hell's happening. But then we see. Can I see? Oh, man, I can't see the headline. Come on, man. Oh, not gonna let me see the headline. Touchdown Tommy. Oh boy. Not gonna let me see that. Anyway, the hell's Touchdown Tommy doing with this clown? Am I gonna be able to see the headline here or what? The touchdown. So Touchdown Tommy, I had heard that I don't know this to be true. I haven't really researched it. I'm not gonna, but I heard that he had 500 million with these clowns. The FTX fiasco, biggest names in finance. Tiger? I don't know these guys right here. Among the hedge funds that participate in funding rounds with this clown SBF's crypto exchange. So going back to what the man asked about a question was, well, some of these funds had money in there. Some of these investments. Paul Tudor Jones, that freaking ass clown. I think he owns the Red Sox. He might not anymore, but I think dude, this is gonna drive me crazy. I don't know what that is. Family off Giselle and Tom Brady. So Brady probably, if he did lose $500, 500 million, that's probably why Giselle left him. She goes, "You don't have money anymore, Tommy." And she probably, because I think she's like casting spells on. All those people are insane. Tom Brady's nuts. Look, I like the fact he won Super Bowls with the Patriots. I like the fact that he liked to have a couple, let's put it this way, undervalued receivers, if you know what I'm saying. I like that, but I mean, come on. And then Giselle, though, I mean, she was freaking messing around with freaking the guy Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, these people they're all freaking crazy, nuts. I don't want anything to do with it. So anyway, if he did have 500 million, isn't it ironic that Giselle just happens to leave at the same time? There's nothing more than a way to get money in the Democratic Party and the way to pay off the initial investors like Paul Tudor Jones. All that. I mean, look, it's crazy. I'll share another thing. Anyway, so now we got U.S. regulators. It's all a way to regulate the hell out of crypto and then go to a CBDC, central banking digital currency. You can see this a mile away. It's no different. Look, man, you think they didn't know there were bad things happening? Of course they did. But they needed a fall guy. This clown right here he's such an idiot, this kid. He's never been told what no in his life. He's never had to dig a ditch. You know what I'm saying? It's just a clown. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I don't feel bad for him, but I feel bad for how they laid him up for the easy layup, and then they just took him down so easily. And he'll probably won't be around in 5 years, like freaking Madoff. But anyway, the point being was all these guys, they part money with him, and the whole thing is just it's a clown show where they're all it's I don't know how you can't say it's no different than a dry cleaner, if you know what I'm saying, dry cleaning. But here you got poor teachers in Ontario. Sequoia can kiss my ass. All these guys. I mean, these aren't no-name investors. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know what they're going to do. Tiger. I mean, God Almighty, these are not small potatoes people. I find it insane. And I hate to say it, but you follow that because the aura of this clown with crazy hair, I got nothing for you. I'm not sympathetic for any of these people. They can all kiss my big fat behind. With that said, I want to show you something else though. So if we go to a Substack, this guy right here kicks ass. Go to Substack. Let's see what we got going on. 1,200 years of British royalty and 5 charts. These are the people I subscribe to. How dare I subscribe to Steve Kirsch? How dare I subscribe to Robert Malone? Chris Hedges is a big lib, but all right. So I want to show you right here. Jessica Rose, how dare I? Caitlin Johnstone, how dare I? She's a big lib. Emerald Robinson, how dare I? Right here. So I want to read this a little bit because this piece is fantastic. My man Jordan, I don't even know, Jordan Shatel or something like that. I can upgrade. The True Believer: How SBF Worldview Facilitated the creation and destruction of a crypto empire. He dedicated his whole life to effective altruism. I just put a video out there for you all to watch. Make sure you watch it before it gets taken down for some of the Daily Nas. I don't know who the hell that guy is. But obviously he's paid big bucks to be representative on a YouTube that made SBF look like he's all that in a bag of chips. That anyone would have fallen for it is nuts to me. But FDC, with his ideological comrades, his friends believe in effective altruism. His lovers believe in effective altruism. His business partners believe in effective altruism. Let's catch up to speed on how a man who was once worth supposedly tens of billions of dollars went bankrupt overnight. And we're going to watch this right here. This is crazy. This guy right here kicks ass, man. Folks can let me do it. All right, 1 second. I'll probably have to take this video down when we're done. All right, I guess I got to click on it. All right. Hold on a second. I want you guys to watch this. I see them up on the mountain. Now, I'm not on Twitter. I will never be on Twitter because it's a freaking crap hole of idiots. But there are some good people on Twitters, and sometimes I get a thing I can watch without signing in because I'm not ever going to be on Twitter. But all right. I could talk about the FTX collapse for hours on end, but there's no time. Here's a whole awful, glorious mess. Crap. Oh, I gotta. Hey, stop, would you? Right here.
This is Sam Bankman-Fried. People call him SBF. He's the founder of FTX. He also controlled a crypto hedge fund called Alameda Research, but that's all gone now. He wants you to think he's a sweet guy. He even bought in a famous YouTuber who called him the most generous man in the world. That happened. Truth is, Sam Bankman-Fried is a liar and a crook. His personal crypto, FTX token, was basically a Ponzi scheme hidden below layers of Moonbro jargon. He even went on Bloomberg's podcast and bragged about it. That happened. He used his Ponzi token as collateral to borrow billions of real dollars that he couldn't pay back. He then used those real dollars to build an empire out of dying companies like Voyager and BlockFi. This led Jim Cramer to call him the new JP Morgan. That's weird. It's not like Jim Cramer to promote a billionaire con artist. SBF sold people cryptos like Bitcoin, or so they thought. What they really bought from SBF was an IOU. But as long as everyone didn't cash in their IOU at the same time, the scheme worked. Until it didn't. This other a-hole who hates SBF came along and engineered a bank run with some passive-aggressive tweets. It worked. SBF didn't have enough money to repay everyone at once, and now his customers have lost everything. He'll be happy to know that this is exactly how every bank in the world operates. So where did all the money go? He misappropriated $4 billion trying to save his failing hedge fund. Whoops, that's a felony. He spent $21 million on Super Bowl commercials, $5 million for the big guy, $40 million in campaign donations. I wonder what he wanted in return. And everyone who's pointing at this story and saying,
this is exactly why we need to regulate crypto.
Remember that SBF stole billions. That's already a crime. And he spent a lot of it on bribing politicians. Also a crime, in order to create a crypto monopoly for himself. Government regulations don't protect the customers. They protect the crooks. That's exactly what SBF was trying to do.
Did y'all see who that last guy was? If memory serves, that was the big donor to the DeSantis campaign. The hits just keep on coming. But Trump's exempt from all this, of course. All right, let's keep going here. Unfortunately, there's no greater return on investment in America today than bribing politicians. SBF and his network understood that. They spent the days before the collapse of FTX delivering massive resources into fixing the regulatory levers of power in D.C. During the crypto token bear market, SBF and his collaborators were trying to create a regulatory monopoly for their flagship digital currency exchange. Like most Ponzi schemes, things often seem great, at least from the outside looking in. FTX was running Super Bowl ads, putting his name on stadiums, recruiting A-list celebrities, all to prop up operations. His team, including his DC-based lobbyist brother, who's also effectively or committed to the effective altruism ideology, needed to find a way to eventually de-risk the Ponzi. They sought to win the day by achieving government-sanctioned monopoly off their fraud scheme. Their lobbying efforts included dishing out hundreds of millions to mostly Democratic campaigns to generate political indebtedness. Contrary to the stated aims, FTX was not on some humanitarian mission to help crypto. The activities pursued by his team and himself display a campaign to further corrupt legislatures. Engaging in sketchy activity and embracing DC corruption sure is morally reprehensible, but as you understand in a moment, effective altruism can be interpreted as sanctioning such actions for the greater good. Given their frequent meetings with White House officials, the SEC chair, and high-ranking legislatures, it's clear that the cash for regulatory privileges was working. In all likelihood, had the Ponzi scheme not been exposed right before the new congressional session, SBF would have succeeded. One cannot fully understand what motivates people like this to pursue these Ponzi schemes without an understanding the effective altruism movement. His ties to it were explored in a recent long-form something on the website of Sequoia Capital, a major venture firm with $85 billion in assets under management. It was a major investor in FTX, and SBF has personally invested hundreds of millions into Sequoia. Hey, who is Sequoia? Let me look up who's Sequoia. Who runs Sequoia? All right, hold on a second. Who is, anyone know? Anyone here right quick that can tell me without me have to? Yeah, Brady has to keep playing because he's broke, man. 100%. 100%. Yep. Call him the next Warren Buffett. Next, JP Morgan. All right, who runs Sequoia? Yeah, but who's the guy? Who's the guy who just gave all that money to DeSantis? I forgot his name. I'm drawing a blank. Is that guy who runs Sequoia? I don't know. The dude who but who's let me show you. He showed the picture of the same guy who donated to the freaking DeSantis campaign. Maybe that's the Citadel. I can't remember. What's the guy's name? Damn, I'm drawing a blank. That dude who freaking donated all this money to big venture capitalist. All right, let's keep going. All right, here's Clown World. Here's this guy, Nas Daily. And look at this dude. Belly, man boobs. Just, oh, God. Let's see. It's far from overwhelmingly positive depiction of Bankman-Fried, but it stands out from the Sequoia thing. But stands out as the way it delivers incredible detail about the man himself. He's made a considerable effort to enhance his own image and investing big bucks in countless additional publishing operations, Vox, ProPublica, I don't know what that is, The Intercept. And for those investments had paid dividends in the image marketing department. Just 2 months ago, he was considered the next Warren Buffett. Jim Cramer said he's the next JP Morgan. The Sequoia profile, which does a deep dive in his personal life, has been wiped from the internet. It's on the Wayback Machine, but it'll be gone from there too, because we know who owns the Wayback Machine. It's Taylor Lorenz' uncle. Taylor Lorenz from the New York Times, used to be Washington Post, is her uncle. Isn't that weird? And everything negative on Taylor Lorenz is wiped away from the Wayback Machine. Hey, but vote harder, guys. Vote harder. SBF has EA, Effectual Altruism, to thank for both his early success and his enormous wealth. The now deleted Sequoia article explains that 2018 EA members helped him clear incredible regulatory hurdles that gave him access to execute overseas arbitrage Bitcoin trade through East Asian banks. Remember, in 2018, the guy was only like 27. By taking advantage of the higher price of Bitcoin in Japan, he was able to rake in hundreds of millions, if not billions, by facilitating trades through his special transcontinental access to normally super restrictive Asian banking concerns. Nothing weird about that. I mean, my goodness, a 27-year-old guy with man boobs, sure, you say, yeah, let's do it. You get you, man. The MIT alum, is he alum or did he fail out? I've heard both. Is a very bright individual. Yeah, because see, that's the thing. All these guys are somewhat smart, but they think they're so smart that they're all that in a bag of chips, and everyone should bow down before them. And when people don't, what do? They get eaten up by Satan. Man, I'm telling you, there's an article. Let me just real quick. Dating back to his days as intern at Jane Street Trading, where his brother either owned or worked at as well, he has been vaulted to success by members of the EA community. He sold his soul. We got Skype developer, this guy right here from Facebook, several additional prominent Silicon Valley entrepreneurs. He is far from the only beneficiary of the EA network. Financiers have deployed tens of billions of dollars into advancing this influence and success of his advocates. When he became wealthy, he founded the FTX Future Fund. All right, we'll keep going. Effective altruism is a well-funded niche but growing ideological movement, basically ESG, that explains itself as evidence and reason to figure out how to benefit others as much as possible and taking action on that. Yeah, so great. Peter Singer. Oh, interesting. If that's the same Peter Singer I know from Princeton, not a good man. I don't know these other two clowns. McCaskill was on the FTX Future Fund board, but since strongly disavowed him following the collapse. Yeah, he did it after he disavowed it. I bet you shouldn't say anything. I don't know. Now, here's an idea which is similar to the philanthropic by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. To quickly summarize the worldview of the intellectuals who coined effective altruism and continue to disseminate his ideas through Silicon Valley and the Ivy League, Oxbridge, Cambridge, Oxford academic world, that can be best understood as progressive utilitarianism. They want to do good, but they can't develop a consensus on exactly what is good. So they tend to lean strongly into authoritarian governance principles. All right, I'll end there. That's anyway. That's my man Substack, the Dossier, whatever. That guy kicks ass. I thought I was already a paid subscriber of his. I guess not. There was an article that talked about. You ever notice like the people who question the most of conspiracy theorists are middle class and upper middle class people. I gotta go get something to drink. I'm gonna follow me along in my room as I go get something to drink. I thought that was very interesting. Upper middle class and middle class people, usually in white collar positions, middle management, stuff like that, upper middle management, who challenge the biggest offenders of whatever the conspiracy, the cabal wants. Oh man, don't have anything in there. What the? Here's my clearly filtered water to get fluoride out of the water. How dare you worry about fluoride in the water? And so what happens here is, but I do like it. I'm not going to lie to you. I probably drink too much aspartame. That's the issue. So I don't drink much fluoride. But I do drink aspartame, and anything liquid is going to have fluoride in it, which drives me up the wall. I don't know why we fell for the fluoride scam. It's insane. It's insane. But be that as it may, we did, and here I am still using it. But aspartame, I'm not quite convinced as bad as some of the. It's like GMOs. A lot of people on my side, the conspiracy side, are negative on GMOs. I'm not. And a lot of them are negative on aspartame. I'm not necessarily. I'm yet to be convinced aspartame's that bad. I don't know. And stevia, by the way, stevia is just a freaking plant. Doesn't mean it can't be bad for it, but it's like it's not. I mean, stevia in of itself isn't synthetic. It's literally it's just a leaf. Anyway. Right on, Dougie Fresh. Man. Ken Griffin, that's it. Yes, Ken Griffin, that's it. Where's Ken Griffin from? He's not Sequoia. Ken Griffin's guy gave all that money to hey, the bees. There you go. Where you living, Steven? Yes, I want to look at Ken Griffin. Ken Griffin. Citadel was a Citadel. Okay, not the Citadel, but Citadel. Yeah, this guy. And so why did did that 90-second thing have a picture of Ken Griffin? Huh. Why did that 90 they had a picture of this guy? Why do they have a picture of that guy? Committed millions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. Weird. All right, let's keep going. All right. What's awesome, Doug? Vancouver. Why do you like the bees? Yeah, exactly, Tom. Hey, man, you got to find out who Sniffy Joe and Nancy are investing in. You'll get rich, man. Our financial truther, Optimus Prime. Anyway, hey, Penelope. So let's see. I don't know about that, Penelope. All right, so I challenged because Penelope. I'm not gonna say she's a lib. She has made a number of points that were. And it's probably a dude actually who's become and when I said, "Are you a bot, Penelope?" Made a number of contrarian to me points. Doesn't mean she's a lib. I bet she is. Anyway, I said, "I bet you're." Asked her some last time on the live stream. She didn't answer. And then she's had a couple comments since, and I said, "Are you a friggin' bot?" And I was like, Rochester Americans. Wait, what? You said the Bruins beat the Rochester Americans? What the hell? I'm not. Oh, the farm team was. Okay. The Rochester Americans are the Bees farm team? No way, dude. The Rochester Americans are the Bruins farm team? You think Penelope's a bot, Jill? Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Now, if she is, it's amazing because if she is, because she responded back to me when I said, "Are you a bot?" So can bots is AI that word? I don't even know how to say AI, but can bots do that? Respond back? That's kind of creepy. So, no, dude. Yeah, the Bruins farm team was the Maine Mariners for a couple of years up in Maine, and previous to that, the Maine Mariners were the Flyers farm team. But the Bees were the Maine Mariners in the late '80s. I don't know about the early. I don't think the Rochester Americans were the Bruins farm team. The Amherst, yeah, dude. I've always liked the Amherst with the shield, dude. Man, freaking Nova Scotia Voyagers, freaking. They used to always be the Maine Mariners, Nova Scotia. What kind of people need financial? I used to love, man. Oh, I miss freaking old school hockey. I still like hockey. I don't really like hockey until the playoffs start. I mean, I like it, but I don't catch any games. We'll travel around every now and again to see the Bruins. We'll probably go see them this year. Now that they don't have the vax requirements, maybe we'll even go to Boston Garden and see the Bruins. We shall see. Who? You're telling me the Rochester Americans were the farm team for the Boston Bruins in the '70s and until they became the farm team until the Maine Mariners became the farm team. I don't believe that. I'm gonna see. If you're right, that's cool. Boston Bruins AHL affiliates. Yes, let's take a look. We're gonna see. I think I would have known that because I was Maine Mariners. We were knee deep in the AHL. Remember the New Haven Nighthawks, the Springfield Indians? They've since changed the name, I think. Then they went up they had a team up in the Sherbrooke Jets, the Fredericton Oilers, or the Nova Scotia Voyagers. Oh, our biggest rivals. Ugh. And then the Mariners won. They beat. I think we beat New Haven. No, that's such. I remember that we had got cable that year. Oh my goodness, 81. I think it was 81, man. We got cable that year, 82. And when I played on the ice lake, I was a goalie. I never learned how to skate. I couldn't skate backwards. I never got skates because everyone else had their freaking Bowers, and I had these freaking. I had to get these the church or something like that had some extra skates. So everyone else had these fancy schmancy Bowers. I come along with these freaking girlish looking figure skates. And because we used to have this pond in the church where I was growing up in Maine, at Peaks Island, Maine. And not a pond, but a parking lot. And the parking lot would freeze over and we'd skate there. And these guys have the fancy schmancy Bowers on, all this stuff. And here comes me with my girly freaking figure skates. It's kind of like a light brown color. And I tried for about 2 seconds, fell on my butt. People laughed at me, my girly pearly skates on my butt, and I probably started crying. What I used to do back then, I cried and I want to fight. I would just always, but I couldn't fight with skates on, so I probably started crying and took off. I've always been somewhat of a like emotional guy, you know what I'm saying? So I start crying and start just whatever. And anyone was laughing, just going after him. I'm not a big guy, never has been, but I used to take people by surprise. I get so emotional. They're just like, dude, chill. Not a way to be. Let's put it that way. Anyway, long story short, so I never played hockey, but I heard the goalie's the best skater. Is that true? What up, Doug? Gary Jeevers lost all his teeth playing for Rochester. Shins recorded it. Anyway, I want to go see. Let's take a look. I think people are lying to me about the Rochester Americans being the Bruins farm team in the AHL. I think people are lying to me. See, right there, Maine Mariners. Look, Moncton. Yeah. Oh, okay. Maine Mariners, 1987, 1992. All right, so let's take a look, shall we? That's only from 1985. So let's see what we got. And the freaking Providence Bruins, kiss my butt. Freaking Providence Bruins. All right, so I'm looking for Rochester Americans. Oh, for friggin' 5 years in the 70s. Wow. That's nothing, man. Come on. Baltimore Skipjacks. I remember them. Springfield Indians. What the hell's Broom Dusters? That's pretty good. Rochester Americans right there, man. That's okay. Yeah, right there. Erie Blades. Yeah, Maine Mariners. Let's look them up. Let's look up the Mariners. Oh, this brings back my. Oh, that's it. Not gonna show any Mariners. Oh man, that's a blast from the past. Who's a now? Where's 2000? Providence Bruins. Yeah, freaking Providence Bruins. 30 years now. Look at that. So one time, if memory serves, I think I got the let me show you right here. Check this out. You guys want to see something crazy? Hold on just a second. I'm gonna share with you guys something that's way crazy, and you're gonna say, "Damn, Josh, you are the man." You're gonna say, "I wish I could be Josh when I show you this." Hold on just a second. Check this out. Oh yeah, check this out. You guys want to see something nuts? I'm gonna show you something nuts. Watch this, if it will show it. Can we see something nuts here, please? All right. Come on. Yeah. All right. Marty Brodeur. Utica Devils. Marty Brodeur. Yeah, basically the best goalie in histoire. Yes, he was better than Ken Dryden because if it wasn't for Marty Brodeur, the Devils certainly would not have done anything. And he played for the Utica Devils. I think that might be a picture of him right there. Look at that. The reason I say that's interesting, I think I have a program of Marty Brodeur playing for the Utica Devils in 1990 or 1991 or something like that. Because when I was in the Army in Fort Drum in Watertown, New York, we'd go see some hockey games in Utica. So the Utica Devils. We go see the Clarkston College and St. Lawrence. Going to St. Lawrence was fun, dude, because it's like a high school arena for basketball, like in Indiana, like in Hoosiers. It's freaking awesome. Clarkson has fancy schmancy good time rock and roll arena, which was kind of St. Lawrence is great. Anyways, go to St. Lawrence, Clarkson, go to Utica, see the hockey team, Devils. I have a friend that met his wife at a Utica Devils game. I can't remember who that was. Tell me that's not nuts. Went to a Utica Devils game when he was in the Army, met his wife there. We went down to see the Syracuse Chiefs. They had like a center field that's like 480 feet away. We saw the Watertown Indians a million times, the New York Penn League. We never saw the Americans, though. Even though we went down to Rochester a couple times to see some bands play. You saw Suicidal Tendencies. Did we see Tool? Nuclear Assault, saw them down there. Suicidal Tendencies. We went to Rochester a couple times to see bands. Went to Oswego because Oswego State, Potsdam State. Anyway, all good. Yeah, man, North Country kicks ass. Oh, dude, there's this one. It's called Dexter Henderson. I almost want to say Dexter, New York, but I can't remember. There's this bar there. So my the guy across the barracks from me, he and another guy, he was like dating some chick from out there. I can't remember. Anyway, I think it was Dexter, New York, but I can't remember the name of the town. Check out which uniforms. Anyway, so we went to there's whatever's Henderson, Dexter, I can't remember the town. Dude, just a small little bar. God, it was so much fun, man. We just go in there, and it wasn't, and it's just the locals because the guy we're with was like dating one of the chicks up there, something like that, and his parents and her parents loved him. They loved us. We just go there, freaking have barbecue at their house, and go to this little bar, and just it'd be like 30 of us, and just it was just fun, dude. I'm sure the men hated us, the young men. Hey, my man BC 3000 went to Clarkson. All right, so you were the guy. All right, gotcha. I know a few women who had a broom since age 8, but they rode them a little bit. Check out the uniforms for who. Anyway, the best hockey team ever, the name, I didn't know this. Someone told me this. In Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia had a hockey team, or is it a baseball team? But anyway, one of those, I can't remember. I think it's hockey. The hockey team was called Macon Whoopee. Oh, how awesome is that? Oh, yeah. The Americans, freaking Rochester American uniforms are the best. All right, let's look them up. Macon Whoopee. Oh, see, you guys got me. I've always loved minor league sports. Always have. And we go to card shows. Yeah, right there, dude. That's not the best uniform ever. I'm surprised this freaking out. Rochester American uniforms are the best uniforms ever. Look at this. Look at that. The Amerks. That freaking kicks ass. Look at that. There's no better uniform in all of hockey. So that's why I think they should be Rangers. Look at that. It looks just like the Rangers. Rochester freaking Americans. Look at this. We saw the Hershey Bears not too long ago. I want to see the vintage ones. Look at these vintage ones. That's freaking U.S. in your face, Canada. You call me? Okay. Oh, Rochester Americans. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's the best. So I'll show the old Let's look at the Nova Scotia. Man, see, you guys, now you got me freaking off somehow. I love minor league hockey. Loved it. Love minor league baseball. Nova Scotia Voyagers. Oh, yeah. Look at this. These guys. Oh, the Voyagers. Look at that. You can't look at that. That's a unit. That's how freaking awesome. Oh man, I guess you guys see this thing. If I can make it bigger, hold on a second. Let me stop and share this. If I can make it bigger. Oh man, that makes me so happy. Look. Oh yeah, let's see if I can. Dude, you kidding me? When are you gonna talk about financial planning? Oh, we're talking about minor league hockey, man. Nothing's better. Look at that. How freaking awesome is that? It's so simple and yet awesome. I hate the Nova Scotia Voyagers because they always had our number. So let's look at the Maine Mariners, shall we? Maine Mariners. Old. See, now they got the stupid Maine Mariner with a freaking trident. I think it's a trident. Oh, look at that. The orange and the black, baby. Philadelphia Flyers. Oh, that's the Maine Mariners of the Bruins. But now the new Maine, yeah, it's like this. This is freaking stupid. Yay. I'm glad they have them. They're at ECHL. They're not even the AHL anymore. But look at that. That's the Maine Mariners. All right. Go to the old, in Portland, the Civic Center, and just these drunken freaking guys just pissing all over themselves. You have to take the boat home. So you go down. Portland used to be a shithole, pardon my French. People don't know that. In the 70s, Portland was a shithole. The 70s and 80s, it'd just be drunken, just horrible. It wasn't like it all is now. It's not friggin' Latteville. Back then, it was just a roughneck town, dudes, because it still has a working port. You know what I'm saying? And they still have literally boats and stuff, not just fancy schmancy yachts. This is real live boats. And then they'd have these just freaking drunks hanging out at the old port, hanging out the freaking boat where I have to take a boat to Peace Island and stuff. The freaking just, disgusting. And you go up to Civic Center and just be all these drunks and just probably half of them were pervs, you know what I'm saying? Half were probably Catholic priests, if you know what I'm saying. I'm Catholic, so I can say that. Oh, horrible. Of course, the best uniforms were the Quebec Nordiques. Quebec Nordiques, that blue, powder blue. Oh, man. So I don't have a memory very good for a lot of things, but when it comes to sports, because it's just all repetitive, man. Dallas Blackhawks. Wow, cool. That's fantastic. The Bills lost today, Josh. I heard the Bills. Did you all see that? Real quick. All right. Mark got kicked out of going to the shower room at college in Saskatchewan. You could tell the hockey players because they brush their teeth by holding them in one. Yeah, no, they play the Gwinnett team plays them. They now call them the Atlanta. I can't remember anymore. We haven't been to a game this year, but Gwinnett is in the same league. Did anyone see the Bills versus Vikings game? Did you see Vincenzo? Did you see that catch that Jefferson had? That was the best catch I've ever seen in my life. It was insane. 4th and 18, and it looked like it's a pick. And the dude goes up, and he's like this. And everyone's like, it's Odell Beckham. No, 10 times better because a safety had it in his hands. He had it with 2 hands. Yep, Stasny right there. Right there. And he had it with 2 hands, the safety did. The safety's is going forward. Jefferson's going backward. He lands on his back, and he still has the ball and doesn't touch the ground. Crazy. Yeah, my kid loves it, man. I tell you, once he's out, I probably won't watch anymore. You know what I'm saying? I always loved football. I got out of it for a long time, and then I never thought I'd go back because once I got out, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. But to be perfectly honest with you, one of my kids likes it. We turn on, I watch it with him. I get back into it. again, we did go see the Jacksonville Jaguars. We took them to go see against the Texans. Can't get much more exciting than that. But yeah, I can't believe that. Amarillo Gorillas. That's crazy. Cold chop. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. It was better than that, Tom. It was better than that. Just because you're a Green Bay fanboy, come on. Come on. For Green Bay fanboys, we got to say the pack and our stupid cheeseheads right there. I'm just goofing on you. But that catch was the best catch I've ever seen. It was, especially given the situation. 4th and 18. The fans are going crazy. It's crazy. All right. So let's see if we got anything that people that I like ice that is unfrozen. Right on, man. Yeah, I saw that, Carl. I saw that, man. Yeah. I don't know what the NHL is doing. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, my kid doesn't like hockey. I mean, he doesn't hate it. He'll go to a game, but he doesn't. My oldest son, he couldn't care less. He's like, I just don't care. Yeah, it's funny. My daughter, I shouldn't say this. Let's just put it this way: when Georgia played Tennessee, and she goes to UGA, not only did she not go, even though she has tickets, she went. Signed in basically and walked right out. She goes, I don't care. I don't care. It's funny. And so now Maddie went to go see Georgia Tech play Virginia Tech at VA Tech with her boyfriend. And so we got Maddie kind of likes the sports. Liam loves basketball. And I don't know why. We never watched it until he just picked it up. It's weird. And then he watches all the time. Nuts. And he loves football too. Crazy. He didn't play. I mean, he played a little bit of basketball. He's never played football. I played football. I sucked at it. I was lucky to get, other than punt return, kick return, and punt team and kick team, I think I got like 2 starts at cornerback my whole career. I hated it, dude. I hated tackling people. I hated being tackled. I don't like being hit, dude. I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's why my wife married me. Anyway, so so I don't know why he picked up, but it's just funny. I got one kid is horribly into it, in a good way, I suppose, and 2 that just literally could care less. And my oldest, she'll go to a Tech game, and she likes hockey. She likes the Bees, and she wants to move to Boston, so she can go to the Bees and stuff. But other than that, it's funny. Mitch got canceled hard if he signed the Bruins contract. The thing that pissed me off about the Bruins and the Celtics and the Red Sox is that they all were going on with this freaking Monica Cannon Grant. I don't know if you follow Turtle Boy, Andrew Roth is on here. Who know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Rick Middleton. There you go. Portland Pirates. Yeah. But see, Josh, you're young. I remember the Maine Guides were in town. The Maine Guides. Anyone from up there remember the Maine Guides? Yeah, they were the AAA team for the Cleveland Indians, the Maine Guides. And I remember listening to them on the radio, and we got to go see a couple games. And April is freaking freezing out. Like, I can't wait for summer. And then summertime comes along, and it's freaking Mosquitoville everywhere. It's crazy because they put it in the middle of a swamp in Old Orchard. The Maine Guys. Look them up. AAA team for the Cleveland Indians. Sports Illustrated did a great write-up about it. I still got Maine Guide stuff up in my thing up there, like my Maine Mariners stuff, Maine Guide stuff. All kinds of stuff, all kinds of memorabilia. And then they moved to Scranton Wilkes Bar. They moved to Scranton Wilkes Bar. And then there was no team in Maine until the Portland Sea Dogs came around in '92 or something like that. And they took off, man. They were right down there at Hadlock Park, which is right next to King Middle School, where I went to middle school. I went to 2 years one. So you got Daring Oaks. This is where I'm from, dudes. This is literally me. So you got Daring Oaks, where all you never want to walk in Daring Oaks if you're a young boy at night, if you know what I'm saying. Let's put it this way. A lot of interesting characters who might find you. You might want to play wide receiver on their team, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so you had Daring Oaks over here. You had King Middle School right here. You had the I forgot what it's called, the auditorium. But anyway, we used to have indoor track meets right here. I can't remember what it's called. When Mike Tyson fought Spinks, when Mike Tyson fought Michael Spinks, they had that on closed circuit television in this auditorium thing. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, it's a big 5,000 seat arena or something. I forgot. But anyway, you had that, and then right next to that you have Hadlock Park. I think it's called Hadlock Park. I'm sure it is, and that's where the Portland Sea Dog AA team play. Eastern League, I think, and they draw, man. You get a good turnout. Crazy. And then if you keep going down, you'll see these train tracks. So you keep going down towards. Actually, I'm not sure. Towards South Portland, I suppose. Anyway, keep going down this way, away from downtown Portland. There'd be these train tracks. And if you follow the train tracks up this way, literally a block later, maybe 2 blocks later, you take a right. There was my little neighborhood. But they didn't have the Portland Sea Dogs when I was there, which I would have loved. I don't remember what they had there at that place. I don't recall. Man, all that place has been developed like crazy since I've been there. It's crazy. Back then, it was just industrial park. Industrial park, drive-by truckers. Hey, Kennesaw State, doing Roman. Right on, man. Sea Dog's a good take. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I wish they didn't name the Sea Dogs. Procrastinations, please, for when we'll hit prognostications. Rex, I don't know, brother. So Rex, like, when do we think? Hey, look at my man Rex. He gave me $3 super sticker. I don't know, Rex. I have no clue. I think the wait, you're off Bailey Island, right? No, is that Bailey Island? Harpswell? Yeah. You're up that way? Dude, I freaking love it up there. If I had to live back in Maine, I just don't know if I could handle Cumberland County with all the libs. Hartford Whalers. I never heard that goal song. Anyway, so going back to Rex's question about hitting the bottom. I think bonds have. And so here's the issue. Going back to my thinking out loud about selling all my stuff and paying off debt. See, I think bonds are going to tear off, man. I bet, in fact, you can see the 10-year right now already. It's right here. I mean, look, I don't know. No one knows. But see that little drop? Let's see if I can. Right there. That's the 10-year yield dropping from 4.22 to 3.8. So it's dropped 40 basis points in literally a week. I mean, November 9th. It's dropped 40 basis points. And that's almost 10% decline in the interest rates off the 10-year Treasury. So, yeah, that's crazy how much people love football down. I'm assuming you're in Texas because they play literally, man. They'll play football for anything. Anyway, so how dare you? How dare you say that? Haven't missed much. We just told Denise the meaning of the world. Now she missed it. Sorry, Denise. What happens when you're late? You're tardy, Denise. How dare you? Oh, I got you. Right on. I thought you meant the good name. I didn't like the Sea Dogs the name. I thought that was stupid. Hockey Talk. Yes. So anyway, if the 10-year 10% decline in interest rates, now they're already pricing in, again, a 50 basis point increase already. And I bet I would not be surprised if they don't do that. Remember, the Fed doesn't control this stuff, but the Fed wants the illusion that they do. So they get away with it by saying, look, if it wasn't for us raising, this inflation would still be 8.5. Well, that's 7.7. I mean, I hate to say it, a drop from 8.6 to 7.7 in 1 month. That ain't much, dudes. You see what I'm saying? But they want the illusion of being able to control things. And as such, I could easily see them not raising 50 and only raising 25. They might still raise 50, but it's already priced into it. And yet the 10-year treasury has dropped 10% in yield, which means the price has gone up, not a corresponding amount. I don't know what the price has gone up on 10-year bonds. I don't know, but they've gone up for sure. The point being is when this stops, and I just, again, going back to the article, I hope y'all read that. I actually enjoyed it. Took me a long time to write that article, a long time, half a day. I enjoyed it very much. I should write more articles, but I always say I'm going to do it on a regular basis. I just don't. Anyway, the point being is, you missed the meaning of life, Denise. Yes, you did. Reverse RMD. That's the meaning of life. So just think about it. When the interest rates stop going up and instead probably start going down as the economy starts sliding down to recession, like my man just talked about. That because what the Fed's going to do is, now we're going to recession. We stopped the inflation by putting us in recession, so now we're going to lower interest rates to spike up the economy. This is exactly what they think happened with Volcker. It's insane, man. But what are you going to do? I mean, the media is run by idiots. There's just no other way around it. And as such, they report on. Look, man, the reporters are idiots. They're just the pawns of the big cabal, and they write what they're supposed to write about. And they write to make the people who are pulling the strings, or the powers that be, or the pulling the strings, the Federal Reserve Chairman, all that, make them look like they have control, which they don't. But they do have control. If they lower interest rates, the bond price is going to freaking spike up like you haven't believed. It's going to be nuts, and you'll see a freaking huge. Now, here's my concern. This is why I said when the bonds. I was telling people 2-3 years ago. I mean, my whole channel up until this last probably 6 months, this year. I'm saying don't buy bonds. There's nothing but downside. You know for a fact what you're going to get on your bond. Your bond's going to be whatever the current yield is. There's no getting around that. You will get what the current yield is, nothing more, nothing less. And people say, oh, no, I made X, Y, Z in bonds. I said, that's fleeting. It's temporary. A bond is, hey, Peter. Oh, boy. Explain the Federal Reserve System to the peeps. Yeah. It's a money creation Ponzi scheme. That's all there is to it. It's not, there's no basis for it other than people. Actually, let me find this thing. This right here, the money myth exploded. This is you get this right here. The money myth exploded. I'm not going to read it here right now. But think about it. There is not enough dollars to even pay off the debt. On top to even pay off the debt and all the interest. And it's very interesting here. So this guy, this banker named Oliver, they're stranded on a ship island. He basically, I'm not going to share it with you too much, but basically there's 5 guys who need money to transact business. Because one guy's a freaking plumber, one guy's a farmer, one guy does mines for gold and things. Let's see. So the farmer doesn't have any goods because his potatoes only come out of the ground and basically in a couple times a year. You know what I'm saying? But he needs a plumbing job done today. So the plumbing job says, well, I don't have, they would barter, but the potato guy says, I have no potatoes. I have to issue you an IOU. And the plumber says, well, that's fine, but it becomes a freaking pain in the ass. So they say, well, I know you, Bob. I'll go ahead and provide you your plumbing services. Just when you get the potatoes in the ground, out of the ground, give them to me. But then, see what I'm saying? So then this guy Oliver comes to the island, who happens to have a printing machine and what he says is a bag of gold, which backs these dollars. So he says to facilitate the trade of this bartering economy, what we're going to do is we're going to issue you each $200. All right. So he said he prints $1,000, $200 to all 5 of the guys. He goes, and for my effort, you're going to pay me 8%. All right. Well, think about it. He issues each of these guys $200, but he's going to get $1,080 back. Yeah, $1,080 back. But there's only $1,000 in existence. So how does he get the $80 back? Where does it come from? Because it's not there. There's none there. You see what I'm saying? And so they go into this sum. They say, well, he'll just create more. And then they say, yeah, but then we're gonna have to owe you more, because if you create another $1,000, we're gonna have to owe you $2,160. But there's only $2,000 around. How do we do that? And anyway, the point being is very interesting. That's what the Federal Reserve is, creating money out of nothing. And the money is to facilitate our exchange of goods. And I'll tell you right now, the best book you can get on money is right here. This is let's see if I have the copy that I've been reading for years. Right here, Principle of Economics by Carl Menger, because he talks about what money is. Because everyone thinks money has its value. It doesn't have any value in of itself, other than the ability to trade it for other things. That's it. That's why I can't stand Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, there is no value. And people are like, well, it has a value and that there's not that much issue. That doesn't mean, not that much issue. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? This hat, how many 10th Mountain Division hats? There's, just because there's not that much issue doesn't make it valuable. It's valuable only to the extent that other people accept it as an exchange of goods. And well, you accept it now at 16,000, or were you accepting it at 65,000? You can't have it like that. There's got to be some level of sense here. Jekyll, never been to Jekyll Island, Peter. Never been. I don't know. Appreciate Super Tabs, brother. You're a good man, Peter. I don't care what they say. Anyway, so if you read Carl Menger, and then you can read Ludwig von Mises, which I have in the other room. All the foundations of Austrian economics, and the Austrian School of Economics is fantastic, except the belief in the unencumbered free markets, as if the free market itself will not eventually be dominated by monopolistic enterprises, and it will. And all these friggin' libertarians and anarchy capitalists, I'm just telling you, the free market's a fool's game. Doesn't mean we have a command and control market. It doesn't mean that. That's what everyone thinks. They have this. I fell for years. This false dichotomy of command and control, top down versus bottom up free markets. I'm not even saying a managed economy. It's a localized economy is what we really got to shoot for. And the localized economy is, you find people in your local communities that you can frequent, do business with, and try as best as you can to remove yourself from shipping from China and all this stuff, just because that's the only way to do it. Because the minute people start getting their freaking foot in the door, what they start doing, they turn to Washington, D.C. to regulate their competitors. It's called the barrier to entry. Dude, I'm telling you right now, from localized cab companies. It's been a while since I told the story, but I had a friend named Marty, and he was trying to break into the cab industry in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Now, you might not know Harrisonburg, but Mennonites are big in that area, the neck of Western Virginia. And so a lot of Mennonites, they don't have cars. They have horse and buggies, all right? So they didn't live in Harrisonburg. They lived out in Dayton, Bridgewater, Broadway, up 40. You guys don't know what I'm talking about, but they lived out in the areas outside of Harrisonburg. All right. Well, sometimes they needed to get into town to see the doctor or something like that. And the cab company would not go out there because it's a hike. And, they weren't going to get paid that much because these old Mennonite people didn't have a whole lot of cash. But if they needed a ride, the cab company was going to charge them an arm and a leg. So Marty said, I can do this for a whole lot cheaper. You know what I'm saying? And I knew Marty. I actually knew him quite well. And Marty said, I'm going to start a cab company and I'm going to help. I'll take any business, but, there's a need here. He got arrested in Harrisonburg for an unlicensed cab company. And you're like, okay, I'll just get licensed. Can't get licensed. The only way to get licensed in Harrisonburg, Virginia, to be a taxi cab driver was if if the current cab company acknowledged that there was a need for another cab company. They had a veto, a competitor's veto. They literally said, and this isn't just in Harrisonburg, Virginia, this is all over the place. The only way to operate a said business is if the competitor you're trying to beat, because they're not charging a righteous price, allows you to compete. Who the hell's going to do that? So Mars like, no, so literally arrested. So then he operated literally illegally. Went to his councilman, said, I need to change the law. I said, we're not going to change the law. Why? Because they're getting paid by the current, the incumbent. This is politics 101, man. And there's like, oh, free market. Washington, D.C. is the antithesis of free market. It's like, look at your local community. We had everything from freaking African braiding hairdressers in Arizona to freaking casket makers in Arkansas, all over the place with this kind. It's shenanigans like that are everywhere. It's nuts. It's nuts. There isn't a free market because there's always monopoly intentions by certainly the incumbents. And the monopoly said, if I can get a monopoly, I can charge whatever I want and offer the cheapest service ever. When my mom and dad were rabble rousers, even the far lefties, against Casco Bay Lines. Casco Bay Lines provided the monopoly for service from Peaks Island to Portland, Maine. It was illegal for you to provide a water taxi outside of Casco Bay Lines. Literally illegal. Again, they had a competitor's veto. So there's a guy, Captain Rodney, who operated literally under the cover of darkness, his own private water taxi, who was always being faced with arrest and jail time. Jail time for providing a private water taxi that went against Casco Bay Lines. And if it wasn't for people like my mom and dad, Peaks Island would not be this freaking mecca that it is now for rich people. It actually pissing me off. All these rich people, a lot of libs, and they get to live off the labor of people like my mom and dad, the hippies. And yet these libs are so freaking wealthy. Their stupid taxes on cigarettes, their stupid taxes on carbon tax. These aren't libs like the old school libs. These aren't hippie libs. These are elitist, super duper educated elitist libs who've never had to work a hard day in their life. And they can all kiss my big fat behind. Yep, I'm painting with a broad brush. Don't care. Don't care. The true liberals, the ones that said, no. We want competition because competition is the best for the consumer. And us consumers here on Welfare Island, that's what they used to call Peaks Island, we should have a right to pay lower costs and better service. Anyway, the point being is these, the Austrian School of Economics and the anarcho-capitalists will say, oh, no. I'm like, no, you guys are missing. This is what I've learned over the last probably 10 years. I used to believe all that crap too. But I now recognize that there's not just the false dichotomy. I mean, it's a false dichotomy that says there's two places to go and that's it. There's not. There's many, many others. Maybe some being a more regulated free trade. I hate to even say that, but now I've also seen that what I've grown up is that the government is the antithesis of all that is good and true and beautiful. Now I see as corporations are too. So for me, I'm an anti-corporate and anti-government guy as well. I don't know what that makes me. Government is evil. We know for a fact government is evil because government kills millions of people of government. But who provided the tools for the government to kill these people? Well, it's corporations. And that's the thing is you have these, once these two get together, it's worse than one or the other because now you have to deal with straight fascism. And now, fascism is a lot more efficient than socialism. I mean, socialism will never be efficient. It's inherent. It can't be. You can't. Fascism is very inherent, very efficient because you have the private corporations with their money-making routine trying to make money, make profits, and the government tells them what to do. And then they can rule, so VW, we know for a fact that Prescott Bush was, and the Kennedys, maybe not the Kennedys, but Prescott Bush was very active in making money for the Nazis. We know that for a fact. And lots of people made money for the Nazis. who was it? It's just this guy came to my mind the other day. I was like, damn, even that guy too. Yeah, we know we hired a lot of Nazis to go work for NASA. That's fact, dudes. That's fact. Nazis and NASA. Nazis, NASA. Nazis, NASA. Weird how close that comes. And if you're working for NASA, it doesn't mean you're Nazi. I was in the military. I was in the infantry. Lots of bad people in the military and the infantry. Doesn't make me a killer at my lay. Doesn't make me. But I'm just telling you. When people say the false dichotomy of corporatism is better than freaking governmentism, I said, no, they're both just as bad. 100%. All right. James, we haven't talked much finance. All right. So anyway, going back to the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve, basically, they're a private entity. They're supposed to be non-political, but they're totally political. I mean, they're appointed by politicians. Even worse, so they're all come from Harvard, Yale, London School of Economics, and all that stuff. It's all the same group of people, man. I mean, this is like the Supreme Court. Was it 6 out of 9 on the Supreme Court Catholic? Look, I'm Catholic, kind of, but I mean, I'm Catholic, raised Catholic. I hate to say raised Catholic because I wasn't, but I'm Catholic. I still belong to a Catholic family in a Catholic church. The fact that 6 out of 9 of the Supreme Court are Catholic is kind of weird. You got to point this out. Why are Catholics overrepresented in the Supreme Court? Doesn't make sense. In the Federal Reserve, why are all the big elitist institutions representative in the Supreme Court of the Federal Reserve? It doesn't make any sense. So now you got a lady freaking ACB on the Supreme Court. Well, she went to Notre Dame. Wow. I mean, at least she went to a non-Ivy League school. Okay. Still, I mean, see what I'm saying? You have this group of people up here are making rules for us to live on, as if not just the Supreme Court, not just the Federal Reserve, but all that. And I mean, look, and I'll go back to what David Chappelle said. Why is Hollywood and business dominated by a certain group of people? I can't say it. I can say the Supreme Court's dominated by Catholics, which it is, and I won't get banned. But if I say who runs finance and who runs entertainment, we all know who does. How is this tiny minority of people in control of all this? How is this tiny minority? Well, I shouldn't say tiny, but Catholics aren't the majority of America, not by any stretch of imagination. How are 6 of the 9 of the Supreme Court run by Catholics? How was the friggin' titans of industry all from the Ivy Leagues? Don't you see? It has nothing to do with an Abrahamic religion. It has to do with the friggin' institutions from which they gather. It's crazy, man. I remember I first heard the thing with John Kerry and George W. Bush, the skull and bones that said, oh, these people are nuts. Now it's 100%. They all freaking are in on it, all of them. And they all sell their souls to the devil for all these institutions. And it's crazy that we give these guys tax benefits. And people on the right drives me up the wall. They call me a liberal because I want to raise taxes. I said, well, if we're going to freaking give away the store, might as well take some money so we can solidify Social Security, because we got no control over this. But at least with our votes, we can say, let's raise the taxes on these people, man. Gosh almighty. I don't understand why that's such a freaking, because they got us brainwashed. I fell for this for so long. I'll never forget when Ben Stein, Bueller, that guy. I was reading an article by him in probably 2005 or 4, something like that, in Forbes magazine. He said, we got to raise taxes on the wealthy. They don't pay enough. I said, Ben Stein, you're not true. I was making $34,000 a year back then with, I guess I only had 2 kids back then. A wife at home, raising 2 diapers. You know what I'm saying? Me making $35,000 a year. I had a part-time. I had to take a second job working at R.R. Donnelley, binding books together. And on the weekends, I'd go for a couple times. And when this guy had a small trailer park, and I'd go put skirts on underneath the single wide trailers that he had. And I was worried Ben Stein was talking about raising taxes on rich people. What the hell? I was like, what the hell? We were thinking about going on a WIC. When we had our other 2 kids, women and infant children. I'm worried about, if you raise taxes, that violates conservatism. Well, that's conservatism. I don't want anything to do with it, because conservatism has allowed these rich people like Sam Bankman-Fried, all these people, to get all this money so they can donate it to charities, which turn around and donate back to them. It's the beauty of a freaking, gotta be careful what I say. Let's put dry cleaning industry, if that makes sense. I hope you know what I'm saying about a dry cleaning industry. It's crazy. And they're all the same cabal. It has nothing to do with the Abrahamic religion. It has to do from the institutions for which they come. Crazy. How many people go to Mississippi State? Not a damn one. How many people go to Kennesaw? Not a damn one, man. Yeah, I haven't been in a long time. Yes, I am. I have my not life insurance, my long term care through Knights of Columbus. I have my long term care for Knights of Columbus. Do you know the Knights of Columbus? One of their this is pretty interesting. I'm gonna show you. I did not know this, but I'm gonna show you now. Knights of Columbus. I'm gonna show you the. This is very interesting, and some of you guys are gonna be really mad at me when I show you. I don't care. I don't get too mad at me, but let's see what a look at this is. This image from the good old Knights of Columbus. It's not to bash the Knights of Columbus. I don't want anyone freaking out on me. I'm just going to show you what this is. See this right here? What is that right there? See that right there? Let's see if I can make that bigger. Oops. I don't know if I can make it bigger. I want to make this bigger. Oops. That right there. Anyone want to take a guess what that is? Let's see if anyone gets it. Let's see. What is that? That thing right in the middle. I'll give you a couple more minutes. Well, I don't want tax on. I want tax. No more tax deductions for charitable donations, Josh. So Josh said, "What'd be wrong with the 10% tax rate across the board?" Not a scroll tube. But I want no more charitable deductions. Now, you can even, I don't even care. You can say if you make more than, less than $1 million, you still get charitable deductions. The issue is very few people have charitable deductions anymore. Most people take the standard deduction. Golf bag. That's called a fasci. So that right there is called a fasci. So let's look at what that is. What is a fasci? I guess fascia is what's called. What the hell is it called? Fash. Is it fascia? Hold on just a second. I gotta remember what it's called. It's called a fascia. My man. Hold on a second. I'll tell you what it is. A fasci. It is a. Let me do an image for it. There we go. All right, so there. It's called fascia. That's what I thought. All right. Yep, that's right, Denise. Fasci. Right there. All right. There it is right there. This is everywhere. Everywhere, this thing. It's everywhere. You should look up this symbol, the fasci. That's one of the Knights of Columbus. It's everywhere in our society. It's freaking kind of creepy, man, actually, when you start looking at this. The fasci. It's obviously fascism, right? So we're stronger together. But it goes I mean, look, I don't care about these clowns, but it's very weird. It's not just the Knights of Columbus. It's all over the place. And if you just you start to see that a symbolism of Rome has led to the United States throughout many aspects of our country. And you're like, huh. It becomes weird, actually. And you're saying, well, and all this stuff. And the seal of the Senate is a fasci. Lots of stuff. Then we hired a bunch of Nazis for NASA and who knows who else. It's just a lot of weird stuff that goes on. And conspiracy theorists, I don't care. It is what it is, man. A lot of weird things. And then you start thinking, maybe we as individuals don't have as much control with our voting as we thought. And we don't. That's where I've come to the conclusion is that, people want the big daddy government. I get it, man. I get it. I want Social Security. That's a fact. But of course, we pay for Social Security. People didn't pay for Medicaid. You know what I'm saying? People didn't pay for freaking Section 8 housing and stuff. No, I'm not saying take it away. It'll never happen. But I'm just saying at the end of the day, Social Security is entitlement. It's not a welfare program. So all these people say, oh, you got Social Security. Yeah, well, we paid what was right. We paid what we had to pay. What I would do, frankly, and 100%, lots of that Yeah, well, I wonder why the Catholic Church is losing parishioners. Maybe they should get rid of their stupid Pope. You know what I'm saying? Because that guy's a clown, dude. No two ways around that. That guy's a clown. 100%. I can't stand. I literally, it's hard. I haven't. Charlotte went to church the other day, Thursday, and I said, look, if it makes you feel good, go. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. That doesn't mean I love God. I have a closer relationship with God now than I've ever had in my life. But the Catholic Church, and that's Protestant church, no. I mean, look, I listen to John Piper. He kissed my butt. I like Andy Stanley as a non-denominational, North Point Church, community church here in Alpharetta. I'm not going to that. As we sit here right now, my faith in Catholicism is way low because our leader is such a freaking clown. And my faith doesn't go to God, doesn't go through Pope. Certainly doesn't go through the Vatican. My faith in God is right there, just goes right there with this thing right here, my prayers. Now, people can get offended by that. That's fine. You got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to hide what I feel. I just know I have a much deeper relationship with God than I've ever had in my life. It had nothing to do with the church, it had to do with me and just listening and praying and being at peace in the morning. And the more I get at peace, the more close I have a relationship with God. It's a wonderful thing. Let's say a prayer, actually. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we just pray for guidance. We pray for guidance. We pray for peace in this world. And we know the only way to true peace is through you. We will never get it by voting. We'll never get it by donating. We'll never get it by doing anything other than bowing down before you. And thy will be done. And it might not be great. It might be rough. We have plenty of evidence of that through Job. Oh, so many people. So many people. And we pray for those who've fallen. It just come to mind Ravi Zacharias. He did wonderful things, but he was led astray with lust. And Lord, we are all have the ability to follow suit. I'm not going to say he made a sacrifice, but I'm going to say we can learn from his misdeeds to be always on guard for the evil that is always there, ready to pounce, ready to take us away from you. You are the only true thing in this world. The only true thing. And yet it is so easy. Just pray for those souls who are lost. Pray for those souls who've been turned away from you because their belief in man, a man in a robe, can provide salvation. And then when that man in the robe turns out to be a scoundrel that turns them away from you, I just pray for those lost souls, Lord, because that is not you. Oh, how many people have lost? Have we lost because of those people doing Satan's work? Oh, Lord. We just pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. I get really, really upset by people claiming to be of the Lord who turn people away from the Lord. I can't think of a more evil thing. I mean, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, evil people. But to claim you're of God, i.e., I am acting as a moderator between you and the Lord, and I turn you away from all that is good, true, and beautiful because I act in ways that cannot be of God. I can't think of a more evil thing. And how many people, not just Catholic Church, all, how many women have been deceived by a guy claiming, oh no, it's all good. Like, she's pregs. And the guy deceiving her is like, I'm out, or you should have an abortion. You can say about Herschel Walker. I get it. I'm not trying to be political here. It happened. I don't know what happened. It happens on all over the place. I mean, but for the grace of God, there goes I. I get it. We're sinner, man. Sinner. But with the sin comes even a greater joy when you just get on your knees and say, God, man. Anyway, it's what do they say? Christians aren't perfect, they're just saved, something like that. I'm not even so sure not only that not Christians are. Actually, I don't believe that. I think that God is way above telling old Josh who's going to heaven or not. God doesn't mean me to say, hey, Josh, you tell people are going to heaven. I don't. I don't have that ability. I don't have the ability to say, oh, you're in India. You're not going to heaven. I'm not saying that. Does that mean they're not? I have no clue. I don't like that actually when people act like, oh, I know. I'm like, oh, yeah. Maybe humble, be a little bit more humble in our own internal thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I try to do. I mean, look, I'm guilty. I'm the biggest hypocrite there is, but it's like maybe we should humble ourselves before God and recognize we don't know anything. All we know is for us personally, we have a call to love the Lord. If loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right, man. That's just a fact. All right. I love VTV Stillwater. Oh, absolutely. Dude. Yeah. Oh, what I love VTV, brother. Whoever asked me that, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Look, if value stocks kick butt, take names. Can I prove that? No, I can't prove it because I can't prove the future. If Pablo is sitting with his mom right now, yeah, look, I agree. I got no qualm with that. I got no qualm with VTAC, total stock index and chill. I got no qualm with that at all. I just, for me, I'm a dividend lover more than I'm a growth lover, and as such, I like VTV, Wellington, Wellesley, all the large cap value stuff. That's a fact. I'm just telling you right now. For me, though, I just think the shorter term opportunity are bonds. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Now get out of here because I got to take a leak. Did I just say that out loud? How dare I? Man, I don't have a thing, so I always got to use my T-shirt. All right, so I just want to go back to bonds. Right. That's why Mormons crush, man. Oh yeah, no, look, Jill, don't take this wrong. We know that guy, Archbishop Vignay or something like that. 100%. I'm not saying just because people in your church are nuts that you say I'm not in that church anymore. I'm just saying for me, do I call myself a tried and true Catholic? Yeah, I guess. But I'm not sitting there saying, oh, the Pope this, but I just don't care. I just literally, it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. The Pope, I still like going to a church. I like the formality of the Mass, like the calisthenics. You know what I'm saying? I've come across a few good preachers in my career as a Catholic. Most of them are young, and most are from third world countries, which is wonderful. Those Africans and those Latin Americans who come here, they don't play. They don't play. And when I say Latin Americans, I don't mean the Pope. Freaking, he's just a white guy from Argentina, right? Anything from Argentina, something like that. Those Africans, they don't play. And I like it. Now that gets me fired up. We had some African priests coming and going there, and I think they got to couch what they say to their more modern, affluent, liberal audience. But man, the fire in their belly is fantastic. We had a guy from, let's say Guatemala in my church. The guy freaking kicks ass, man. Father Pedro, I think. I don't think it's Pedro. He sounded like Pedro. That's what it was. Father, Spanish guy, of course. He sounded like Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. They got fire in their hearts, dude, in their bellies. I mean, they freaking crush. They're not playing with the woke crap. I'll tell you that right now. That doesn't mean they were playing with freaking free markets, capitalism. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that. That's the thing. Oh, they're not playing with the woke. Yeah, they must be Republicans. No. These guys are crushing. Crushing. And that's all we're going to have in the future. We're going to have a bunch of Indians. We got tons of Indians in my Catholic church, and they freaking kick ass. Haitians, obviously, but Africans are coming up. Lots of Latin Americans. Some of those Latin Americans are less. Well, there's a differential between some of them. In fact, right now the only staff we have at our church are Spanish speakers because they laid off the non-bilinguals, which friggin' pisses me off there too. So now we get. Look, I don't hate these people. I'm just saying. Wait a second. So you laid off the people who can't speak both. How's that non-discriminatory? So now all we got is, English and Spanish speakers, and all the older white ladies who've run the church for years are just gone because they can't speak the language. And don't tell me, and it damn well better not be that you laid them off because the white ladies needed a higher income. That's the problem with immigration right there. They cut the income of the current constituents, which is us, which is Anglo and Black Americans and Native Spanish speakers. Well, Native Americans who speak Spanish, not Native Americans like American Indians, but Spanish speakers who were born here and were raised here for generations. Immigrant labor cuts the wages of these people. And we all benefit from it. That's the thing. I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, yeah, it's bad, but I don't want to pay more. It's like when I was in Walmart about 2 years ago, I was in Walmart. I'll never forget this black guy who was in there. And he was throwing a fit that Walmart had self-checkouts. And he's saying, I can't believe, he's talking to a Walmart employee. I can't believe these guys have self-checkouts. They're putting you out of work. They're putting us all out of business, blah, blah, blah. They're going to take away, they're taking our jobs. But the irony of it all is he was using that self-checkout. He could have, I told him, I said, why are you using self-checkout? There's an aisle right there. There was no waiting. He just said, well, it's all right. He didn't even ignore me. He kind of just ignored me. An older black guy all rambling, rousing. I was like, use that friggin' aisle. You're all griping in here about Walmart and their self-checkouts. Or you could have gone to Publix and paid more because Publix has no self-checkouts, but the costs are higher. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the hell? Hypocrites, dude. Hate them. Am I a hypocrite? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Filipinos crush, 100%. No, well, that's what I think. Yeah, 100%, Joe. I mean, look, when I leave church, there's a feeling of peace in me. There's no two ways around that. The church does something for me when I leave. No two ways around. In some ways, laziness not to go. But I've had that feeling of peace in other churches too. Methodist church, we live in Dayton, Brethren Church, and a Baptist. So you got the Brethren, the Mennonites, the Amish. Brethren, I think, are Anabaptist. That wasn't Brethren Church. It was. I can't remember. Presbyterian Church. I mean, but for me, I know when I go to a church, I feel better when I leave. There's no two ways around that. All right. That's what I was going to say. Poster boy for Jabs campaign dies suddenly at just 4 years old. My wife just texted me. All right, so just real quick, we'll get out of here. Bonds. We're going to do a 5-year bond at 4%. You buy it at 100, it matures at 100. There's no two ways around this. That there's no more money, no less. The bond will pay you 4%. That's it. All right. So if you then were able to buy that bond, let's say you paid $120 for the bond. Right? So now you get a 4-year bond. Now remember, it was issued at par at 100. The coupon is 4%. It's issued at par at 100. The coupon is 4%. Now you paid $120 for it. All right. So again, a 5-year bond, coupon's 4%. We know 3 things here. We know it's for 5 years. We know it's paying 4% a year, and we know it's going to mature at 100. All right. So that same bond now, you look up, and all of a sudden it's year 1. So we got 4 years left at 4%, but it cost $120. Why does that bond cost 120 now? What happened to make that bond cost 120 when just a year ago it cost 100? Celtic Spirit, you got to look at your Bible. You got to look at your Bible. Doesn't say two or more. Look at it. Look it up. It doesn't. I can't remember what one that is, but it doesn't say two or more. Interesting. Doesn't say two or more. Yeah, but what happened to interest rates? I know you said interest rates, but what happened? What made this go from a $100 bond to a $120 bond? Interest rates went up. They did. Interest rates went up. That's right. My man gets this right here. They went down. Exactly. So interest rates went down. So when interest rates go down, the price of the bonds go up. Yeah, not principal, price, because principal is 100. All right, so the interest rates went down, so this bond becomes a lot more valuable. Because think, it's just for common sense. If you had a 4-year bond now, remember it's 4 years, or 1 year behind us, and I got 4%. I mean, if you had 4-year bond. If I had a newly issued 4-year bond, but interest rates went down, so now it's only paying 3%. All right, so the other bond that's paying 4 obviously is worth 33% more in interest than the newly issued bond that's only paying 3. All right, so a newly issued bond, it's only a 4-year bond at 3%. They're all issued at 100. All right, so they're all issued at 100. So a newly issued bond is for a 4-year bond is paying 3%. Well, inherently, the 4% bond, that's a 4-year bond, is worth more because it's paying 4%. So there's a calculation. I'm just saying you pay 120. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. It's easy to figure out, but we're paying 120. Now, all these bonds still mature at 100. All these bonds will still mature at 100. Literally, do not use this as mathematical. There's a mathematical equation to figure out exactly what that price would be. This isn't it. I'm just using this for example. All these bonds will mature at 100, which means inherently this bond right here is going to go to 100. In the interim, I'm going to get 4% interest. This bond right here will stay at 100. In the interim, I'm going to get 3% interest. It all comes to the same. You're all going to make the same amount of money. It's just literally that simple. You're not going to make more and you're not going to make less. And so the issue that we had for the last few years until this year was that because the interest rates kept going down, the price of the bonds kept going up. But it's all fake. It's all fleeting. It goes up because they all mature at 100. They all mature at 100. So the price of the bond going up doesn't mean anything. It just means it's either getting closer to its par value at 100 or it's going to come back down. One of those two things. We don't know. Whatever, because you have to look at the individual bond. But anyway, so that's the thing with bonds. So when I'm sitting here, why I think bonds are going to spike back up, because I think a lot of people sold bonds well below par, not realizing that bonds always mature at 100, regardless of what interest rates are doing. Just because they raise interest rates today, I haven't looked at the price of bond. I probably should do that tomorrow, actually. But let's just say you had an old bond that's trading at freaking 108. Now it's down to 86 because people say, I don't want that bond because the interest rates are going to go down even more. So I want to sell it before it drops even more. And the price goes from 86 to 75. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. And so we know that the bonds will not only go at 86, they're going to go back to 100 eventually. That's a fact. Now, again, haven't looked at the bond market for about a month or so. But if that's the case, and I think it is, then the bond market has some serious upside. Now, it might be the case that it just gave back the gains that were already pretend gains. Again, if it's trading at 120, it's coming back to 100 anyway. I hope this makes some sense. Some of you guys will get it. If you don't, it's okay. It took me a long time to figure this stuff out, man. Long time. So if you don't get it from me, just I do this on occasion, talking about bonds, because I think bonds are actually pretty simple, but they're interesting because people say, "Oh, I was getting 14% a year in my bond." It's like, what's the yield? 3? Okay, that gain is fleeting. It's going to come back to 0. I got to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to get out of here, guys. About to pee my pants. This aspartame is making me pee my pants. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. God bless. Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks, my man Peter, for the super chat, and Rex Kwando for the super chat. We'll see you guys later. Wednesday at noon. See ya.